Hi guys, what if I tell you that in about 20 minutes, you are gonna be able to make the most delicious, homemade, creamy mac and cheese. I want you to take a look at this beauty. Look at it, it is just scrumptious, very simple, foolproof mac and cheese. Ditch that box, you got this. All right guys, here we go with how you make it. It's really simple. I'm gonna make it all in one pan. I'm gonna show you really quickly. All right, so in a hot pan, you're gonna put 2 tablespoons of butter or thereabout, right? We're gonna wait until this melts a little bit. This is a very easy, foolproof, really mac and cheese recipe. So it goes fast as well. I have my boiling water on the back with my noodles because it all comes together at the end. So here's my butter, 2 tablespoons of butter. To that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour. So I'm gonna make a quick roux, which is what thickens, the sauce of the mac and cheese. And these are kind of hefty teaspoons, 1 and then 1 more. For good measure, you see it's a little over, not perfectly measured, just a little over. And I'm gonna mix this around too until my butter and my flour cooks through. This is a very important step. If your flour does not cook through, it's going to have that gritty, kind of floury taste. You really need to let the flour cook a little bit in the pan. All right, so now to this, let me wait a little bit until this is done. Now while this cooks, I want to tell you something about the cheese. The cheese, I'm going to use 3 kinds of cheese, and it's cheese I'm sure you have in your house. What you need really is a little piece of Velveeta. You need some of that tanginess, some of that processed cheese flavor, because sometimes those mac and cheese that you eat at restaurants even, they're kind of bland. And because the cheddar cheese you need to make it very punchy and full of flavor, it's a little more expensive than what we can probably get at the store. It's a different kind. It's a little more sharp, extra sharp. So for that matter, we're gonna substitute that for Velveeta, which will make it perfectly fine. That is one of the secrets that I have for this. Okay, now we're gonna add the milk to this to make the roux. I use evaporated milk when I make a mac and cheese, and it's evaporated milk and the same amount of water. So it's a 1 can diluted in 1 can again of water, okay? So I have my water right here and my milk. I just want to make sure that this butter, it's really, really cooked, because if not, it's going to have that raw butter taste. So this step is important. All right, so now to this, I'm going to add my milk. 1 can of evaporated with 1 of water all together. Okay, all right, I'm going to move through. I'm going to move. If you need more, you can add more. Okay, so here we're back. I put all the milk, and if you can see, I'm just whisking until it gets somehow a little bit thicker. It's not going to get super thick because I'm going to thicken it a lot with the cheese. All right, to this mixture, what I'm going to add is my spices. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of ground mustard. This gives it that little tang that it needs as well. 1 teaspoon in there. I'm also going to put 1 teaspoon of the seasoned all. Yeah. And then I'm gonna put 1 teaspoon of paprika right there. All right. So all of those 3 is gonna give my mac and cheese an amazing little hints and flavors that I wanted to have. If not, it's gonna be a little too bland. All right, so here's when I add also my red pepper flakes. Now, if you want to put a little more than me, that's fine. I just put a teaspoon just for that little spice, little feel that I like on my mac and cheese. All right, so once it starts bubbling up, you're going to put the Velveeta, okay? So I'm gonna it's just 1 chunk of Velveeta, probably just a couple fingers, and I'm gonna divide it in pieces so it's not all, a whole block. All right. Right here goes the Velveeta in, and I'm gonna continue to move right here until it all dissolves. So I'll see you in just a second. Okay guys, so you can see all my Velveeta is dissolved, and this is a very important step because this is the last time your stove is going to be on. Once the Velveeta is dissolved or melted away, and then you start seeing bubbles, meaning the roux is cooking and the cheese is all getting happy in the pan, you're gonna give it a taste. I can eat this right now. It is really good. The Velveeta gives it a punch. I can taste the seasonal a little bit just to give it that, you know, extra things. I also feel the flavor of the mustard. Everything is important in this recipe. All right, so now that it's like this, I'm going to turn it off because I really do not want this to boil. Now let's talk about the cheese. I use a good handful of cheddar cheese and a smaller handful of smoked Gouda. The smoked Gouda is what gives it that smokiness, that rich flavor that we want in the mac and cheese. Now that this is off, because here's the thing, if you leave this on and the cheese starts boiling, it curdles. And that's when it breaks, it turns grainy, it turns, you pretty much have to toss it away. So this is extremely important. So also you decide right now if you want your noodles, if you're gonna bake this in the oven to put like a little crust, which is what I'm gonna do, your noodles have to be al dente. If you're gonna just mix it and serve it immediately, then you cook your noodles normally. All right, so here I go. I'm gonna dump the noodles, and I just did, you know, elbow macaroni, a box of elbow macaroni, and all the cheese goes in here. My big handful of smoked Gouda, and my big handful of sharp cheddar. All right, so now I don't need a whisk anymore. Remember, this is off, right? I cannot stress this enough, because if you leave it on and the cheeses start boiling, you're done. So here we go. We're gonna mix everything together. Look at that. Isn't this a pot of goodness? Look at it. Okay, and this is pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna put it in my dish. I am going to make sure the dish has a crispy topping, because too much of the same texture sometimes gets boring too. You know, in the South, this is a meal. You know, like you don't have to put anything in it, just a big old bowl of mac and cheese. So now you're gonna see all these cheesy goodness. It's gonna taste delicious. I have not put any salt yet, right? Because I need to wait until this is melted before I taste the salt and the pepper. So let me put the butter on my baking dish so I can show you what to top this with. See you in a minute. Okay, so my mac and cheese is completely mixed in. I want you to see the texture of the mac and cheese. See, super gooey, super delicious. I think it's a little too thick, because since it's gonna bake in the oven just for a few minutes, I'm gonna add a little bit more milk, just because I want it a little loose. If I make it too thick, then it's gonna dry out really fast. Okay, so here you go. That is perfect. I want you to take a look. At this point, you can add milk if you want to. It's not gonna hurt it, because you're not cooking it again. It's just gonna mix in with the rest. All right, so here's the moment when, before I'm gonna put it in my dish, I need to try this baby. Okay, because I wanna make sure there's salt, because I haven't put anything yet. No salt needed. It does need pepper. Some people put a white pepper because they don't want to see the little freckles of pepper on it. I love to see the pepper in it. So here we go. I'm going to mix it again. And now, it's so good. Now I'm going to put it in my dish. Now this is a dish that has just a little bit of butter around, because if not, it sticks the moment you put it in the oven. So I'm going to put all of my mac and cheese in here. Yeah. Look at that, guys. Homemade. There's nothing here that you didn't do but that Velveeta and the cheese, I guess, right? But it's really, really, really good. You should give it a try. Now, how to top this beauty? Because like I said, mac and cheese can get a little too, is the same texture over and over again. So what I do is, I have here some Ritz crackers and just a little tablespoon of butter. I'm gonna mix this in to get all the butter in there together, yeah? And I'm gonna put it on top of this here until it's ready. Yeah, no need for salt or anything, just as is. And I'm gonna sprinkle them on top like this. Look at this, guys. This is gonna be paired with some turkey legs, smoked turkey legs that I have. And I'm gonna put this in the oven. And soon enough, we're gonna have a delicious mac and cheese. So what if I tell you that in about 15 minutes or 20 minutes tops, you can be a hero in the mac and cheese world? So the mac and cheese is out of the oven. I just cooked it for about 15 minutes, just enough for this to kind of get bubbly again and hot. I broil it for another 5 minutes, watching it carefully so you don't burn the crackers on top. And let me just give it a taste. Look how creamy it is. Now, if you don't have Velveeta, you can use cheese whiz. If you don't have Gouda, or you don't like smoked Gouda, you can change it for any other cheese that you like. I like Munster as well. I can put a little bit of goat cheese. I can put any cheese that I want. It's gonna turn delicious. I hope you make this recipe.